This is my first ever ASMR video. I guess tiny elephant. I guess that's a tiny elephant in the room. Um, Not that anybody would care, but to move on. I like ASMR. I really like magic and making some magic decks. I think it's really cool, and I like to talk about things that I think are cool. And I figured this would be a nice outlet to talk about it. Hopefully, you guys or somebody out there thinks it's cool as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get straight into it. So the deck I'm gonna be going over is my Noctis Voltron deck. The premise of this deck is there's a little bit of surveilling, a little bit of graveyard play. Essentially, Noctis reads, you may cast artifact spells from your graveyard by paying 3 life, in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, that artifact enters with a finality counter on it. Basically, a finality counter is a counter that says if a permanent with a finality counter on it was to be put into exile, or put in the graveyard, you exile it instead. Which I guess if you put it into exile from exile, it's kind of redundant. I think I messed it up. But if that permanent was to be basically removed from the battlefield, it would be just put straight into exile instead. So it's kind of like, hey, you can play this thing again, but if it were to be removed or bounced or anything, it's just gonna go to exile. You don't get to keep playing it over and over again. So as I mentioned, it is a Voltron deck. It kind of relies on, if I name my tags here, it kind of relies. You make him a little bit big, give him some double strike, give him some protection, that kind of stuff. It is kind of like, since you do have to play that additional 3 life, it is kind of like a deck that plays with its life total heavy. So it's actually really nice that he has lifelink. So when you do get him online, you kind of recoup all the life that you lost from playing your artifacts. So the early game kind of revolves around playing, where are they at? Playing kind of some ramp spells. I should probably go in and make these a little bit cheaper since I want to be doing this early game. But for right now, this is what I have. So it's really nice. I am in white, blue, and black. So there's not that much like ramp that I have. But all this colorless ramp is very nice. You just play a Waver's Bauble, you crack it, and then you can play it again and crack it again. You got 2 lands there, so it's a pretty good ramp, letting you do it over and over again. I have seen some decks that build around like removing counters and making it so counters can't be put onto permanents. In my considering, I have a card. Let me see if I can go find it. My considering is very large. I kind of just go through Scryfall, find any card that I could possibly want to maybe put in this deck, and then I put it in. There's a lot of like swords and stuff, because at first I wanted to make this a very thematic deck, to where I would have all 13 artifacts from the actual game and kind of have them labeled and maybe get them custom and make it a really cool thematic, like really game accurate deck, but it just really wasn't working out. I like thematic decks, but I guess part of my things as a deck builder, I kind of like want the deck to actually work and function. So just having it be thematic kind of doesn't scratch that itch to me. It would need to be thematic and actually function and work and be playable. With that also being said, I'm not the best deck builder. I think deck building is kind of a linear journey in terms of somebody's skill, and I'm kind of getting there. I like to think that I'm kind of decent, but I'm definitely run into a few problems, and yeah, I can always improve that. Leave it at that. So let's go back to find. I forgot what I was looking for. There we are. Calamity. Players get counters, and counters can't be put on artifacts. So yeah, I have a little bit of counter removal, but again, I didn't really want to spec into that. I really like the Voltron way of playing things. So if we go back up here, yeah, let's talk about I have the ramp. It's really nice, and then once you get that ramp online, you're kind of just playing things out decent, some surveil, like I said. So it's kind of like card draw in a way, to So if somebody were to cast a board wipe targeting artifacts, I would get screwed. So I think it's important to have some protection against board wipes of that nature. I also have some Bill of Fortish cards that essentially just say like, hey, players can attack me, or like there's only one creature can attack, or they gotta pay X per each creature attacking me. It just makes it so I don't get that chip damage. Like I said, this is a deck that plays around life total. So if my life total is getting chipped at in any way, it kind of makes the strategy a lot like me paying the 3 life over and over again. Becomes kind of like, oh snap, I'm gonna die because I'm at the chip damage and I'm using my life a lot. So anything to prevent that chip damage, so I can keep my life kind of chill in the earlier parts of the game. And then, like I said, once you do get online with him, he kind of just starts generating you a bunch of life. So then that life kind of becomes irrelevant at some point. As for my card draw, Especially, I know this is like a $50 card. I try to keep my decks relatively budget, but I bought one when it was really cheap. And this is kind of my my splurgy deck, where I'm just gonna start buying it over the course of like maybe a couple of years, and eventually I'll own all the cards. And I'm specifically gonna try to get them all in the specific printings and the foilings I like. For example, I really like edged foil, so I have this in edged fold already, so I'm very excited about that. And I have a search foil traveling merchant as well. And again, another edged foil, but again, not that anyone cares, but so yeah, that's a more expensive card. I thought I would point that out. But yeah, just more whenever I play an equipment card, I get a draw spell, a counter spell that might surveil or draw if I need to. Again, surveil 2 and then draw 2 cards. If I surveil 2 artifacts, it's kind of like a draw 4, kind of, essentially, not really, but again, surveil 2. I love me some of these surveil 2, draw 2, lose 2. Another equipment, if I cast an equipment, draw a card. And then if we want to go over some of the equipments, Soul Cleaver is really good, because again, I'm going to be casting, and then maybe they might be getting removed, or somebody's using treasures. It's really nice because it reads whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter on equipped creature. That's for everyone, so it doesn't even have to be my stuff. It can be, oh, someone cracked a token, and I get a 1/1 counter. So it's really nice. I think it works really well in this deck again, because I want to have those ramp that I'm recurring. And again, like I mentioned before, if somebody just like maybe removes some of my good stuff, I'll get a trigger off of it. With that being said, when somebody does remove good stuff, I just get to cast it again, because I gotta pay for your life. So that's it's actually really nice. Per se, like let's say that I do have an evasion category. I guess I don't. I just have like Shroud and Hexproof. But for example, if somebody was to remove my Lightning Greaves, just destroy them, they would have to kind of, if they were trying to destroy my Lightning Greave to then be able to target Noctis, they would have to kind of do that in one turn. Because if they don't, the next turn I'm just going to recast it from my graveyard, and I'll have it again. So it's really nice. I have a lot of I really like this one. Flash, whenever it enters the battlefield, attach a target creature. That creature can shroud until end of turn, and then it can't be blocked. So again, if somebody ever does remove this, because having an unblockable commander is kind of scary, so I would think that somebody would want to remove it. If somebody ever did remove it, I have another kind of point I can cast it at whenever and give him shroud. So if somebody removes this, and then maybe by the time they remove it, I have a different, like I have another way to give him shroud or protection. I can kind of just use this as unblockable, or if I don't have another way, I can kind of just leave it in the graveyard. I swap that. If I already have unblockable on him, and they remove this for some reason, or if this is just in my graveyard, it just kind of turns into a, hey, I have a flash thing that I can just cast for 2 in my graveyard, and then just give him shroud. So I think it's really nice. Also, now that I'm looking at it, the foil is 18. I always think it's so interesting how a base card can be like $2 and then the foil is like 30. I know it has to do with like print runs and like how many versions of foil were printed, or like maybe it's only in collector boosters, but I still think it's very interesting that maybe a not so playable card, or a card that's like not as playable as $20 can be treated as a $20 card simply because of the scarcity of foil. I have a little bit of trample because trample is kind of important. If I don't have a way to hit through, especially if on a token, if I'm playing against like a token deck, they're simply just going to keep blocking him, and I won't have a way to get through. That's also why I have unblockable, because he's not like the biggest guy, and I think most of one of my biggest hitters is the Excalibur sword. It doesn't give him any toughness, and he has only 3, so he's kind of weak. And all my other things kind of just give him double strike. So yeah, I do kind of want that. I don't want to be blocked at all. Or if I do get him to be big, I want him to have that trample. I think I also have a category for vigilance, because I think vigilance is very important, specifically because I don't have like that many other creatures, or that many other creatures I would be willing to block with if I don't have a Pillar Fort-ish card up. So I think it's really important, as well as I think it's cool to have them up to where maybe they do swing in, and I have them up, and I just get extra life. So you swing, you get maybe like, let's say he's at 7/7. You swing, and you get 7 life, and then somebody attacks you, and then you block, and you get 7 more life. So being able to keep him up to gain that extra bit of life really helps this deck, and I think it's just nice to have. That's also why I think Soul Cleaver is pretty good in this deck. I don't know if anybody would care to see playtesting, but I think for now that's where I'll leave the overview of the deck. Hopefully, if you guys found it interesting, I do want to get into some goldfishing, because I think that's very cool. As well as I think it's nice to hear some bounce sounds. I don't know if it'll pick them up, but we'll see. Let's mulligan here to see if we can get a 3-land hand. Wow. How many lands am I running in this deck? I swear. Wow, 33 lands. Am I on? What's going on here? Am I on crack? Something's not right. Something is way not right. Whoa. Oh, that's weird. Maybe I just thought 33 lands was enough. I guess we'll see. It's really looking rough. I think this would be a playable hand. Let's see. Now I'm having doubts about this deck. Did I do something to it before that I forgot that I did, that I was supposed to edit? We'll see. How I treat goldfishing, I don't ever draw on turn 1. I play a lot of like 2v2 or 3v3. I also just think if I can win or have a good game without drawing on turn 1, I'll do good if I draw on turn 1. So that's kind of like my philosophy and why I don't draw when I goldfish on turn 1. I'm also kind of new to goldfishing. Okay, I guess if you don't know what goldfishing is, it's kind of just like play testing. I don't even know if people use that. If people use goldfishing a lot to describe it, but yeah, let's keep going. I guess if I didn't control any permanents, this is kind of null, but we'll go ahead and move on to turn 2. Alright, so I got a Swift Foot Boots. Yeah, I think I kind of overlooked that I don't have a permanent. So this won't tap for any color of mana. I guess I lied. This is a blue land, so I can choose this. So then I will probably tap these two to then play a Mind Stone. That would be a nice little turn 2. Go on to turn 3. We hit a land, so that's nice. Play my land for turn. We kind of don't have all the colors we need, though. That kind of sucks. I'm going to have 4 mana to play with right now. I think 2 and 2 would be nice. This does give unblockable and Shroud, but I think just getting a Black Blade and Air Shoes would be better for this turn specifically. Take my Mind Stone for that. that's nice. At least I'm kind of cooked here for my land colors, I'm not gonna lie. Because all our artifacts are colorless, unfortunately. So then I guess I would just play my Whisper Silk Cloak. I probably would be taking some chip damage, not gonna lie. So that would kind of suck. I also kind of Goldfish in terms of like thinking that none of my stuff is gonna get removed. I know I shouldn't do that, but it's a lot funner to play that way. And I kind of save my real Goldfish or like playtesting to when I'm playing in person or like online or something. Let's go to turn 4. Okay, we hit white. We have white now. I'm gonna play that. It's gonna enter tapped, and then I will gain a life, but we won't keep track of life too hard in this. It's nice. I'll probably have to use this. I probably should have used this last turn. Now that I think about it, I probably should have just done the surveil to draw 2 cards to have drawn this. See this? You learn how to play more when you Goldfish too. So that's my mistake. I probably should have played it that way. So now I guess this is white, so I could tap this for white. So I think I'll do that. I'm gonna tap 4 and play Noctis, and then I'm gonna tap the 1 and equip my ear shoes onto him. Sweet, and that would be my turn 5. I'll play turn 6. This is really good. It gives me extra combat, more life gain, things like that. I could get my Excalibur with this. I do have enough permanents to probably play it for free. I'm trying to think. How much is the equip cost of this? It is 3. I'm thinking about maybe. I don't think I could play that. No, I don't think I could. And I don't really think I would need to use this counter spell for anything. I'm in a pretty good spot. I guess I would want some like more pillow fight cards so I don't get swung out too much. What to do? I could take the whole turn to play this and then get my Excalibur. I don't really know what the better play would be, because essentially I want to play a land for turn. I don't want to miss land drop. I think the land is kind of important right now. I guess it is, yeah. I think it would depend on the board state of the game I would be in, but for now I'm gonna treat it as in I would surveil 2 and draw. So look at the top 2. I guess I shouldn't have done that. This is really nice. It gives him X-proof and indestructible. That's really good, but I don't really need that right now. I have unblockable, so the flying doesn't really do anything. Again, it is artifact, so I will graveyard it. Discard. It is card draw, but I wouldn't say I need that, so I'm gonna go ahead and put those both into the graveyard, and then I will draw 2 cards. Now, I know ramping on turn 6 is a little late, but I think, oh yeah, let me tap the mana down to actually play that. You have 3 mana right now. I could play Navigation Warp, because I kind of would want to fly under the radar and not play anything too scary, as to not draw attention to myself. Because yeah, I think if I pulled my Excalibur, I don't think I would be close to one-tapping somebody, but I think I might be right about there with Black Blade Reforged. So I think I would just take this turn to play Navigation Orb instead, as to not draw too much attention to myself. I lied, I can't even do that. Well, in the sake of, in that case, do I want to do this? I think I will, just to keep my curve chill. can swing with it. I mean, it would gain me 10 life. He's not unblockable though. So I don't think I'm going to do anything with it. I'll just, again, kind of try to fly under the radar. Chromatic Worry, that would have been nice to draw instead of Navigation Orb. I could have played that. But what to do? I think, was it 8? I don't have enough mana to do that. I think getting mana is kind of important right now. I would want to make him big so I can block though. I think this is my hand, and then I think this is onto the battlefield. Yeah, put one onto the battlefield. I think I would equip my Black Blade for 3. Oh damn, I'm just gonna kind of put it right there. And then I would play Navigation Orb for 3. Again, it's kind of slow, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very slow right now. The next turn, this is really nice. This is what I would have needed, so I'm gonna go and play that because card draw's important. I think I would spend this turn just ramping. I'm gonna be honest, I probably would have lost this game. I probably would be dead by now. So for treating like that, I'm just gonna play as much ramp as I can, get as much mana, and then act like I didn't lose yet and play a bomb and go off in my own mind, I guess. I played that for 2. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Sorry about that. Play that for 2, and then I need 4. Sweet. I have exactly 4, so I'm gonna sacrifice this, search for 4 basic lands, essentially. Move them to my hand, plains. This deck really likes islands. And then I grab a swamp. One of these will come onto the battlefield tapped. Oh, there's no close enough for that. It's gonna come in tapped, and then I'm gonna play my land for turn there, and then I will pass the turn. So I think right now I'm pretty, with this mana, I think I can take one person out of the game pretty like suddenly. Because I can play my land for turn, and I can tap 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Genji Glove, and then, oh yeah, these need to go to the graveyard. I'm very all over the place, I'm sorry. I would want to use this 2 to equip. Yeah, I can do that. I guess I wouldn't be able to equip that. I would just play it out. So I wouldn't be able to really do anything. I lied. I'm a liar. Big fat liar. Turn 10 though. Turn 10, we're going off. I swear, I promise. I think I would just... Is there anything else that I can really do? I think I would use this time to... I would hold up this, and then I would remove a permanent that might kill me that turn. Just as to not waste mana. And then that'll go there, and then we're gonna go to turn 9. Now, guys, now I swear I can pop off, I swear. I would equip this for 3. And then I would play Excalibur for free and equip it right away for 2. Again, this is assuming that none of this gets countered at all. And then, or like there's no interaction, I would play that for 2. Which somebody probably would have removed one of these artifacts, guaranteed. Again, like I said earlier, I probably lost this game. But yeah, now he is this is for each land, or basic land. Yep, each land. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So now he is at 13, I guess. He's been pretty big. He has a 13, 12 with double strike. Plus 10 more, that makes him a 23, 12. Double strike, unblockable. was killing someone other than me when they had lethal on board. I could kill one person with my 2313 or 2312 commander, and then get an extra combat, and then kill the next person. So yeah, and I would gain about like 80 life, so very nice. I think the life gain I would have had from him being so big and like maybe blocking a couple creatures could have got me through. But yeah, that's the Noctis deck. Again, I'm not the best deck builder. I have ways to go, as you can see from me goldfishing this. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I just thought